Go love your own enemies. Don't be loving mine. My enemies are the theocratic fascists. I don't love them. I want to destroy them.
Child made in the image of God. Oh no, you're not. You're a faggot. And you can't join your church and you can't go to heaven. This is disgraceful. It's inhuman.
Dear China and the rest of the world, you know, I don't really know what to say. What can I say versus what I cannot say, because I live in America, and pretty quick we're not going to be able to say everything we want to say just like we used to. There's going to be restrictions. Freedom of speech is going to go away. Freedom to protest and say we disagree with things is going to go away. We're going to become something that, like people like myself, have never experienced in our entire lives, a fascist nation, where we can't just freely say what we think. We're not free. America is no longer the home of the free. For what it's worth, I did not vote for him. But what I wanted to say to you, especially China, I have heard that Christianity is on the rise in your country. Be aware of the threat that this is. And I'm talking about Christianity. Islam is a threat too, but right now it's Christianity that I want to focus on, because that's the one that's attacking China, that's infiltrating your country. Take a good hard look at America as an example of what not to do, because seriously, what has brought about this rise in stupidity in my country is religion. It's true. Christians think that evolution isn't really true. They think it's a myth, even though there's mountains of evidence supporting it and other sciences supporting it. It's a myth. It has all this evidence, but it's a myth. It's not really. It's just a theory. Creationism, the idea, because it's not even a theory, because there's no evidence to support it at all. But we're just a fiction book that says it's true. Okay, but creationism is what we need to teach our children in schools. Yeah. So a whole lot of Americans have been homeschooling their children, teaching them the Bible and science according to the Bible. And, you know, really, it doesn't matter what we do to this planet, because God is going to come back and fix everything really soon, or he's going to whisk us off to a paradise land, and we're not even going to be thinking about this stupid planet anymore. Well, okay, that's the mentality that has been in America, and the idea that science is the enemy. Innovation is the enemy. Exploration and discovery and trying to understand what makes things work. Those are all really bad things. So we take our children and we homeschool them, or we put them into private schools where everything is filtered through everything is sifted through the filter of the Christian religion, everything. It's all related to God, da, da, da. We talk about God in these schools like he actually exists. Yeah, this thing in the sky, we just assume in these schools that he exists and that he is what created everything, even though there's zero evidence. Anyway, rather than to get into all this stuff, I'm just trying to point out to you the dumbing down that has occurred in this country. Seriously dumbing down. Now, I didn't really realize how dumbed down Americans were, or my country was, until this election, when I saw them in hordes. When you have dumbed down people, you have superstitious people, you have fearful people, you have easily to manipulate people. Dictatorships are aware of this. I think anytime you find a dictatorship or a tyrant, he's going to want that to happen in his country. He's going to want to decrease the amount of education that the normal people get, because he doesn't want smart people. He wants to have every advantage over those other people. So the fields have been ripe for someone like Trump to come along, because America's dumbed down to the point where they're gullible bumpkins. Trump's gonna make everything better. Yeah, he's a billionaire supposedly, given a check by Daddy when he was younger, and swindled and conned and manipulated and used small business owners to get where he is today. Basically stepped on the little guy, made a contract for services from them, and then didn't pay for their services, or just paid a little pittance of what he promised to pay them. Basically stepping on people to get where he is today, and using people to get where he is today. And anytime anybody takes him to court, like the girl who was raped, or the people who were who he swindled out of their money at his fraudulent university, anytime they take him to court, he pulls some strings. He has his attorneys fix it for him. Okay, just settle it. Get rid of them. Just do whatever it takes to get rid of them. I don't want to have to deal with this. Oh my gosh, I might have to read something in the courtroom. I don't want to read. I don't want everyone to know I can't read. So please just settle this. I don't want to have to deal with this humiliation. So he doesn't ever have to face up to his guilt or his crimes. People just settle. He just settles. Get rid of it. Put it away. Just like the thing now with his business being I'm trying to think of the word. You know, I'm a stupid, dumbed-down American, so I'm conflict of interest. That's it. His business is a conflict of interest with his presidency. But don't worry, the Justice Department's going to pull some strings because he's probably paying them or whatever, who knows. But for some reason, the Justice Department, rather than actually do their job, is going to make it work for him, smooth the waters, so there's no more conflict of interest. Or maybe they'll make a special exception, you know, because that's what he's always gotten his whole life, special exceptions. The law does not apply to him. Anyway, again, back to the point of my video. The damage that religion causes. The fields were sown in America, making people dumb, making people mistrust science. Oh, global warming is just a myth. Yeah, we could just go right on polluting and polluting and polluting the planet as much as we want to. It's just so much easier. It's just a myth. So yeah, people are suspicious of science, choosing myth and a fiction book and stories based on no evidence whatsoever instead of science backed by mountains of evidence. Okay, that's what's happened in America. And then we have a professional con artist come along who is used to manipulating people and knows how to tell the stupid people. And there's a lot of stupid people now in America. And that's exactly who he targeted with his message of hope. Yeah, we're going to get you all your jobs back. We're going to drain the swamp in our government. Yeah. We're going to get rid of all the people that don't think and believe in the same things we do. Yeah. And all these backwater people, uneducated people who, I'm sorry, are just really gullible because they're used to magical thinking, because they've been brought up on religious beliefs and thinking religion is more valid than science, which is backed by evidence. So they're like, yeah, let's go, yeah. And now he's in because there were enough stupid people in this country. Now granted, there were 3 million more people in this country that didn't want him than people who did. So the majority in this country did not want him. Please keep that in mind. I know you're going to be despising America with good cause because of the things man is going to be doing. But try to remember that the majority of people living in this country are cringing in horror at every word that comes out of this man's mouth. Cringing in horror. And we did not want him, and he's been forced down our throats, even though the election was forged. Fraud. It's fraud. It's manipulated. It's been tampered with. It's been hacked in all different ways, but we're supposed to accept it. We're not happy either, China. We're not happy either. And we're just hoping that we can go 4 years and still have a country at the end, and maybe we might still have a world at the end of his term. But please take note of what happened in this country. Once when I was younger, America had one of the highest programs for education, educating their children. Science and innovation and technology, all these things, we were leaders in. Now look at us. Are we leaders in that anymore? No. Our children are stupid. People come from other countries in foreign exchange programs and they can't believe how behind kids are here compared to what they're being taught in their countries. We've been dumbed down to the point where we will accept a man who's obviously not going to be interested in poor people or ordinary people or the middle class people or homeless people or veterans or elderly. He's a rich billionaire. He's never had to work a day in his life, and all he's done his entire life was cheat and lie and use people to get his riches. He's not going to care, and that's what Americans didn't understand. And the fact that anybody would not understand that is beyond me. How anybody can look at this rich billionaire guy walking around, talking and thinking like a 10-year-old. They're actually going to think that this belligerent bully is going to have any compassion or sympathy or empathy for normal, ordinary people and care about them and fight for them and their rights. They actually believed his bullshit. All someone like him needed was a large enough group of people living in states that had more electoral clout than other states, and he could win, even though the majority of this country doesn't want him. Really, really doesn't want him. So China, you are starting to see the rise of Christianity in your country. Please fight back. Don't let what happened here happen to you. And that was the point of my message. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you for watching. Bye.
I am absolutely convinced that the main source of hatred in the world is religion. And I think it should be religion treated with ridicule and hatred and contempt.
Share the same weather, winter or summer, May or September, the 4th of whenever, it's better together. Let's get together. Home is where